Okay, 4:30 p.m. update on Tuesday, talking about the winter storm that is going to affect southern Minnesota, about the southern third of Minnesota and a good chunk of Wisconsin. The only area of Wisconsin that's going to be void, it appears, of precipitation looks to be the northwest corner. So, a lot to talk about. Let's get right to it. First of all, I'm going to show you why this storm system could be a big bust, especially for the metro area. We saw this yesterday, but the European model, a model that I depend on quite a bit, is still showing this heavy band of snow, the plowable snow staying south of the Twin Cities. This is the European model right here. And what we're showing you is what's going to happen here over the next 48 to 60 hours from the European model. So as you can see, it keeps the heavy snow south of the Twin Cities Metro. Here's the Twin Cities Metro. In fact, the northern Metro, nothing. Even in the downtowns, nothing. But from about Rochester on south, that's where you get the 6-inch plus snowfalls. That's if you believe the European model. Now, let's take a look at what the big boys at the National Weather Service at NOAA say. They actually are pushing this snow band a bit further north. Okay, so what I want you to focus on is where Minneapolis-St. Paul is located, right here. And this is where you see in the areas of blue, dark blue, and then the orange colors. That's where there's a fairly high potential of 4-inch plus snows. So obviously, like we've been talking over the last several days, there is going to be a serious gradient, a very tight snow gradient across the Twin Cities Metro from northwest to southeast on who's going to get heavy snow and who is not. Dakota, Scott counties likely going to receive in excess of 4 inches plus of snow as we get into the afternoon and evening hours tomorrow. And then, of course, as you go further south, the likelihood of heavy snows increases. In fact, if we look at over a foot of snow predictions, at least the likelihood of it, look at this. Portions of southeastern Minnesota down near Rochester, National Weather Service is thinking that that could happen as we head into tomorrow night and Thursday morning. So the confidence is pretty high that from about Dakota and Scott counties on south, that's where heavy plowable snows are going to occur during the day and especially evening tomorrow. Now, we're going to take a look at the latest. This is hot off the press. This is the 18Z, so 1 p.m. NAM 4K model guidance. And it has not backed off with its northern shift of where the snow is going to fall. So let's go through time. This is early Wednesday morning now. Here we go. This is at about, noon. We're looking at noon now on Wednesday. And watch how this snow streaks out of eastern South Dakota. This is accumulating snow and heads east, northeast into the Twin Cities Metro and much of southern Minnesota. So that by Thursday morning, by 7 a.m. Thursday morning, a good 5 to 8 inches of snow should fall over Dakota and Scott County. And then, of course, the big bullseye right in Olmsted County and the Rochester area and along the I-90 corridor in extreme southern Minnesota. And then, of course, that extends east into Wisconsin to near the Eau Claire area, just south of Eau Claire. So with that being said, if we believe this computer model, and I have no reason not to believe it, there could be 5 to 8 inches of snow, at least, in Dakota and Scott counties and southern Washington counties, and then nothing in Anoka and Wright counties. Not even a coating in those areas. Areas such as St. Cloud may not even get a flake out of this, which seems crazy, but I've seen that happen before in situations like this, especially this time of the year, March and April, where you get these sharp gradients. That's exactly what is going to happen or should happen over the Twin Cities during the day tomorrow. And if we believe this model guidance, that would tell you that accumulating snow is going to head into the Twin Cities at around noon tomorrow. Okay, so that's going to be your time to really start taking a glance at radar and tracking what's going on with radar, because it really comes down to looking at radar now at this point, because the model guidance is not budging. And it's really going to come down to where that band of snow sets up tomorrow morning. So I'll be closely monitoring the radar as we head into the morning hours. And then by noon, again, by about noon is when we should start feeling the effects in the Twin Cities. It still is likely going to be a little bit too warm for the snow to accumulate at noon, but as the snow continues to fall, it will cool our atmosphere, and then the snow should start to stick, especially as we head into the late afternoon and early evening hours when it starts to snow heavily. Why am I so confident that a major winter storm is going to occur? Well, it's the jet stream structure. Look at how this storm system, just a beautiful looking storm system by tomorrow evening, located over the central portion of the U.S. This is a comma-shaped jet stream structure, which is indicative of a major winter storm. And right on the nose, kind of right on the base of these strong winds, at the nose of this jet streak here, and at the base of this jet streak here is where we get strong lift. This is an area of what we call diffluence in the atmosphere and divergence, and this is where storm systems explode, and that definitely is going to happen during the day tomorrow. And look at our 850 millibar temperatures, certainly cold enough. This is even by Wednesday morning, even cold enough upstairs in the lower and mid layers of our atmosphere to support snow even tomorrow morning. So, and then our atmosphere just continues to cool during the afternoon and evening hours. So no doubt cold enough to support snow over all of southern Minnesota and in western Wisconsin. And there's no reason to believe that that isn't going to happen. One last map I wanted to show you. This is the 500 millibar vorticity map. I know there's a lot of powerful words here that are being thrown at you, but take a look at the twist. This is strength and twist in our atmosphere. You can see it right here over western Kansas tomorrow morning. And watch how this strength and twist moves to the east and northeast right towards southeastern Minnesota and Wisconsin during the day on Wednesday and evening Wednesday. And then here's Thursday morning. You can see the storm starts to lose a bit of its intensity on Thursday morning, but by then the damage will be done, and probably in excess of a foot of snow will fall southeast of the Twin Cities in the Rochester area and just south or near Eau Claire. All right, questions? Charles, anything on your end?
No, no, not really.
Right, this is a headache. It's a headache, I know, not only for you guys, for everybody in your industry, but also a big headache for weather forecasters. Because if we shift that storm track 50 miles, 50 measly miles, even 30 miles, which could easily happen, we could get into the 6 to 10 inch type snowfalls in the Twin Cities, even in the central and northern metro. Now, of course, if you shift that track 30 to 50 miles further south than what's anticipated, then all of the Twin Cities will be spared from accumulating snow. So it comes down to watching radar tomorrow morning. Of course, we will look at model guidance tonight, and we'll have a better update for you as we head into late tonight and tomorrow morning. But really, I mean, it comes down to watching radar to see how everything unfolds late tonight and early tomorrow morning. Okay, I showed you this, or I believe I sent you guys this earlier today. Here are my initial stabs at snow totals. And I've got the sharp gradient over the Twin Cities. That hasn't changed. My mind hasn't changed in the last 5 days as far as that's concerned. I am expecting a foot of snow or close to it in the Rochester area, extending east to near or just south of Eau Claire. And then the Twin Cities, Northwest Metro, coating to 2 inches. And then the Southeast Metro, we're talking 5, 6, 7 inches of snow. It's going to be heavy, wet snow, hard to shovel, hard to plow. No doubt you're going to want to focus most of your attention, at least looking at the models right now, you're going to focus most of your attention on the southeastern side of the metro, Dakota, Scott, southern Washington counties, and then of course extending further south from there. One last graphic I wanted to show you. This, of course, is the hourly timing graph, and I will send this to you guys as we head into the evening hours, because I think I'm going to refine this a little bit this evening. But anyway, here's what I'm thinking. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a rain-snow mix later in the morning and early afternoon tomorrow, and then snow picks up in earnest by about 3 p.m. And I expect the rush hour to be really a big problem, especially in the South Metro. I would say the heaviest snow should fall in between the hours of 4 p.m. and about 8 p.m. tomorrow. If this storm gets its act going even a little bit sooner, we may have to push up this snow start time to about 1 or 2 p.m. Radar will help us out with that. But right now, I'm thinking the bulk of the snow, and it may be snowing at about 1 inch per hour, even at the MSP International Airport, would be from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And of course, that may not even happen at all, especially in the northern metro. As far as snow totals at MSP International, I'm thinking somewhere in that 3 to 5 inch range right now, maybe even as much as 6 inches near the Minnesota River down there just south of MSP International. Questions?
Yes, Tom. All right, so we're talking so many inches at Minneapolis Airport. Now, are you talking total snowfall through the storm system, or are you taking into account any of it that's going to melt on contact?
I'm taking into account what's going to melt on contact. Okay, and that's another reason why there's going to be such a disparity in the snow totals over the metro, because snow may be falling in the northern metro, but since it won't be falling as heavily, it won't accumulate and it'll actually melt on contact. Whereas the southern metro, the snow is going to be falling so heavily that it's going to accumulate, and once it starts accumulating, it's going to accumulate rapidly. So yeah, by the time this is all said and done, areas of southern Dakota County, southern Scott County, down near Farmington, Red Wing areas, Goodhue County, of course, just south of there, they may have 10, 12 inches of heavy, wet snow on the ground. Whereas even in the downtowns, it may only be 1 inch or 2 on the ground of heavy, wet slush, slop. So, and then temperatures, of course, are going to cool. They're going to cool overnight on Thursday or on Wednesday into Thursday, so that everything's going to ice up. Be expecting that. The temperatures will not warm much, especially in the southern metro on Thursday, so there won't be very much melting on Thursday. And then hopefully we can get rid of the snow as we head into Friday and Saturday as temps start to warm up a little bit.
Any other storms on the horizon, Tom?
Yes. Saturday may feature some rain and snow, but I think it's going to be too warm for snow on Saturday, so I'm looking at liquid then. But I've got my eyes on another potential major winter storm for Wednesday and Thursday of next week. It seems like Wednesday's the bonus day. Duluth, of course, had their big snow last Wednesday, and now the Rochester area looks like it's going to get their big snow this Wednesday. And that means the Twin Cities would be next in line for next Wednesday, correct?
I hope not.
Yeah, don't put the plows away. I told you guys this
Yeah.
days upon days ago. Don't put them away. It's March, for heaven's sakes, in Minnesota, and we are in a stormy, cold weather pattern, and that means snow this time of year. All right, I will update you. Probably latest or 7 p.m. model guidance actually comes down and is available by about 10 p.m. So be expecting a thorough email update at about that time. Good evening. Bye-bye.
Yep.